Hello from Farland. Good morning. A couple of people were wondering about the effectiveness of the Woodland Scenics underlay. So I guess I'll demonstrate. I'll thump this with my finger, and then I'll thump it over here on the wood. Here goes. I think that pretty well clears it up. On to some other things. Going to install a point motor the easy way today. This is a new point motor. There it is, all bright and shiny in there. And it comes with this a plastic bag with three pieces in it. There's a wire, an unbent wire, and this piece right here, green plastic piece, and a screw. Well, things you're going to need. You need some needle nose pliers. They don't need to be that big. Here's the instruction sheet that comes with it, and it shows you a full-scale diagram of how to bend the wire. Once you get the wire bent, you insert it in a little hole there in this piece that moves back and forth, and then you screw that screw into the screw hole there, and it holds it in there. It's the keeper. Now that little plastic thing, that slides up and down to give you greater or lesser leverage, which is fully adjustable. It's hard to do it one-handed. The greater or lesser throw, depending on what you need. Yeah, it's really hard to do it single-handed. Okay, the other thing you're going to need is a couple of drill bits. One for the screw holes. Here's the little diagram that it comes with. Right there, and the instruction sheet. I printed out a whole bunch of them, and I punched out that hole in just to make it easier to locate. So you drill the main hole. Now I'm using a rather large bit just because I don't want to have to fiddle with it. I just want it to go in and be done. And then a smaller bit for the screw holes, and it shows you where to drill them, and you drill them down from the top all the way through your board, and with the holes already there, it makes it real easy to install it. You need to prepare your tortoise motors, which I've done here. I've soldered on the two outside wires that control the tortoise motor by changing the polarity. The yellow wire is for the point, for the frog that's going to change polarity back and forth, and then the red and green go to the track sides. The green side, this is my track color coding, green and black. is always the track on my layout. Then you'll need some screws to attach it, at least 3 for each one. These are the screws that I'm using. You could get by with slightly smaller ones. Probably should. That's what I'm using. And then, of course, if you're using one of these on it, then you'll need a screwdriver that will fit in there. You also need a flashlight, very important, and I'll show you why in a minute. Next thing you need is one of these, a vice grip. If you're not familiar with them, they close like a vice. And then a means to cut the wire off when you're done to get it sized. I bought these, they were very inexpensive. And then of course, a drill. It doesn't matter whose drill you have, but you're gonna need some kind of a drill. It could be a corded drill or a wireless or cordless drill. And that's what you're gonna need to do this. Oh, I'm gathering some materials for the harbor. Okay, well, let's do it. Let's get this baby installed. I'll be right back. Here's our subject turnout. I have already attached a yellow wire to the point that will be changing polarity, and it's dangling underneath the table. It's already drilled. All we have to do is fish that wire up into the hole and then go down below and attach it. So just hang on and we'll get to it. I've drilled the mounting holes for this orientation right here. In fact, I don't know, maybe you can see them. There's one there and there's one there. In order to get this seemingly impossible task done of fishing this wire up through that tiny hole, here's how you do it. You get your flashlight, turn it on. There, you can see it up through there. I need my glasses. Be right back. Okay. So, the Tortoise Motor in one hand in the right orientation. Flashlight on. First thing you do is you find the wire and you look down the hole and bring it right up. That's when the vice grips come in handy. Which are plenty of stuff, strong enough to allow that to hang down there. Okay, now we got to go under the table. Be right back. Hello again. Here we are under the table, you and me, and the dangling temporary wires, and this Tortoise motor, which we're going to install. There, now it's locked in place. Need to change bits on my machine here. I'll set that up there so I'll never find it again. I'll search high and low for it. Get the other bit out here for these smaller screws and find a good place to mount this. I sort of like them over here. I'll have to turn the camera so you can see. Now the yellow wire goes to the yellow wire right in there. Turns out the new one is 7, so I will scrawl a 7 upside down and backwards here. Barely legible, but nevertheless there. Okay, next thing I want to do while I'm down here, I'm going to move here back. We're going back to the terminal strip. I am going to connect my tester. I'll show you what it does in a minute, but right now let's just get it hooked up while we're down here. This is a tester that allows me to check and make sure that it's operating properly, and so that I can leave it in the position that I want to leave it, so that I can, when I get that track laid, and that's what I'm working up to, when I get that track laid, I will be able to, I just connected it to this thing. When I get that track laid, I will be able to run without necessarily having the whole control system going. Okay, now we can go up on top of the table. Okay, we're back on top. There's our subject 7 tortoise switch. And I have the temporary tester hooked up and a power supply to run it. And I've got it set on 6 volts. We can change that to whatever we want. Lower the voltage, the slower it goes. Let's see what happens. I'll zip it up to 9. Okay, well, it seems to be operating just fine. I'll set this down. Don't need the test motor. Let's see, which way am I going to want that to be? I'm going to want it to be just like it is when I get that track attached, because the second main line comes right down through here. So I think we're all good. Next thing we have to do is cut it off. It's a piano wire. It's very tough, so you'll need some good nippers. I don't like to get shot in the eye with it either. Yeah, that looks good. Got her cut down close. Okay, job done. Moving right along. Next thing. I want to report that making good progress getting things unpacked. I had some assistance over the weekend. and made some real progress. It's a tedious job, unpacking one thing after another. The control panel that I'm working on. Mostly I'm working in the section under the tunnel because I want to get all that installed. Well, I had to get all these installed because this is the freight line. And the middle line is an express and the top line is an express. And everything in here is in the tunnel. I may mark that out, I don't know. But and you can see the green and yellow lamps have been installed, or maybe you can't. Let me see if I can zoom in down there. I did a little assembly on that yesterday. I'm only drilling the lamps where I'm ready for them, and drilling the holes for the switches was pretty experimental, really. The plastic, the Lexan, I got from a local sign maker, builder, sign shop. I called him up and told him what I was looking for and asked him if he'd sell me a piece. And he said, well, what color? And I told him I'd prefer blue. He said, well, I don't have any blue. Well, but I do have some Lexan you can have. Oh, really? Yep, come on down to the shop. And I had described to him how big it needed to be. And I'll be here till 10. So I hot-footed it down there. And sure enough, he handed me this pretty good size, about 32 inches square of Lexan, white Lexan. But it had vinyl lettering and a vinyl sheet covering it completely. He said, now you'll have to take this vinyl off to use it. Oh, great. How do I get that off? He said, well, just get your hairdryer out and it'll come up. Well, it did. It came up. It was took about 3 hours to peel it off. And I might have been able to do it a little faster if I had a second person holding the hairdryer. I built a little box for it. It's not done yet. Let me move you back just a little bit. I think I've left enough room so that I can put some more lights on it. I can mimic the signals, and I can also put some block indicators in to let me know when there's a train in a given block. I saw this Walters girder bridge, and it's not very British, but I really liked it. And I'm going to build 2 of these. This is the first one, and I'm going to put them behind the viaduct, the stone, cut stone viaduct over there to carry the 3rd track. And I thought I would give it a quick coat of primer today. Let me get my little portable, paint booth going here. Sorry about that, didn't mean to make such a lot of noise. Let's see if I can figure out just exactly how this goes. It's been a little while since I've had it together. And then I believe there's part of it that comes out from here. There we go. It's pretty nice bit, really. I guess you can see this. There's a filter pad in there. And let me plug it in. There's a fan. So it's a nice little portable paint booth. Try not to bump the camera leg here. It's kind of, as a matter of fact, let me move this camera a little bit. I wasn't really thinking when I set it up. I have an airbrush for this quick primer job. I think I'll just use a spray can. Well, I'll let that sit for a while, and then I'll turn it over and get the bottom. I just wanted to show you this nifty paint booth. It was less than $100 US, and it's really worth the money. It does have a place where you can vent it outside if you want, and I may do that if I'm doing a lot of heavy painting later on. So that's about it for today. Thanks for watching, and bye from Farland.